Hello everyone, this is Don here for an update on what have I been doing for the last couple months. I took a look at my channel and seen it's been 2 months since I posted a video on the Corsair update. Well, this video is basically going to be an update on what have I been doing over the last 2 months. Well, it turns out April was the last time I did a video and the weather was still pretty crappy. It was 40s, 50s degrees. April and May, or March, that is, March, April. 40s, 50 degrees. May hasn't been much better, 50, 60 degrees. Now that June's here, this weekend has only been in the 60s. So, but anyway, I don't know if anyone ever noticed before that when I built my building here, my pole barn, 24 by 30, I didn't do any overhangs on it. And I did it pretty much on the cheap. I did it as cheaply as I could. And at the start, I had a 7/12 pitch roof. Now you can see it's 412. If you look at my house, the house is 412. And you look at the roof is gray. Well, this building, when I built it, I ended up using green trim, green roofing. And I never really liked it after I got it. So the garage never looked right, it looked out of place. So what I did, started a month ago, 4 weeks ago, the wife and I tore the roof completely off the building on a weekend. Tore off the old roof. I only had 6 trusses up there. Over 30 foot span. They were 6 foot on center, but they were all 2 by 6, and they held up fine over the last 9 years. So we ripped that whole roof off. I built all new 412 pitch trusses, put them 3 foot on center, and then I took and purchased gray. If you can see these corner pieces, that's called ash gray. So those used to be green, and the roof used to be green. Kind of hard to tell out here because the color. I'm not sure how the wind's going to affect this sound quality on this camera, but I'll do the best I can. But what it is, I finally redid the whole roof, and now it looks good. Got it all trimmed in. Okay, that was the outside. After I finished that, the remaining steel that I took off the roof and didn't use was green, like these pieces, corner pieces down here. This is all scrap metal, scrap lumber. And my intention was, I always wanted to put some steel in the roof and the ceiling to close it off so I could try and keep some heat in there. So I figured, alright, I'll buy some gray, put the gray on the roof, put the green inside in the ceiling, white side down. And when I decided to do that, I decided, well, why don't I just change it to 412? So that's how I came about doing the 412. Alright, so now if we come inside, you can see I got all the old steel from the roof in the ceiling now. And what I did also is I added another row of lights along the wall, because every time I was working on the bench, and close the door, every time I worked on the bench, the lights that were behind me always casted a shadow. So, and then I added another row of lights back here. Now all these 3 rows here are LEDs. This center row here these are only 2700 brightness. Those are 5000. Those are 5000, and those are just some leftover fluorescents I had out here one time, and I just threw them up there for now. But the stores have been out of the 5000s, what they call daylights. So those are much brighter. But as you can see, the metal roofing turned out really nice. And then I also put R19 insulation up there. So there's 6 inches of basically wall insulation, but I figured I don't need 11, 13 inches of insulation in a garage. So I put 2 by 4 or 2 by 8 panels of insulation, 6 inches thick. And then after doing that, I was like, well, I might as well go ahead and do the walls. So I bought enough insulation and OSB board, and as you can see, I insulated the whole walls, all new OSB. So that's what I've been doing for the last 4 weekends. I mean, non-stop 4 weekends straight. First weekend, tore the roof off, put on the new roof. Second weekend, came out here and did all the overhangs, closed everything all up on the overhangs. Third weekend, I got out and did, what did I do? Did the ceiling. Did the whole ceiling, third weekend. And then this last weekend, I did the walls. So it's completely insulated all the way around. The only thing left to do is get some foam and insulate the door before winter, and that's not a huge priority unless it starts getting too warm, because the sun, this does face the south, and the sun is on this all day long. But I came out here last week, it was 88 degrees outside, 88, 89, and humid. And I came in here just to put up these wall hangers here I built like a gun rack. I just took some 2x8 and put some notches in it, and these are the rotor blades for the gyrocopters. This pair on the bottom is for my gyrocopter. Those are all polished aluminum, and then these two blades on the top are for this older Benson style machine, and then my machine, of course. So that's what those what I did with the blades. Mine used to be in a box, but the box and the blades, the thing weighed over 100 pounds. It was like dragging around a dead body, so I finally decided to get rid of the box and put the blades up here to get them out of the way. And then I can see I kind of rearranged everything. I'm still looking to kind of mix things up a little bit. That old hot wire foam cutting table in the back, I plan on tearing that apart. But for right now, it's pretty much holding my parts for all the control surfaces for here, the rudders, elevators, ailerons, and such. This is what happened to the airplane. It was all dusty, and I had to keep pulling this stuff all outside to work in here. So today I got in here and finished cleaning up. Everything that was hanging on the walls before all had to come down. All these racks came down. Had to pull this whole bench out. Everything had to come off. The CNC machine was attached to the wall. All that had to come off. So today I spent all day reattaching all this stuff. Put legs on the CNC, and now it's sitting there. It's not anchored to the wall. If it tends to shimmy a little bit when it's working, then I may put a few screws in it just to hold it. But I've kind of tried to tuck everything away. Got one sheet of ply left. I'm probably going to put a piece up right here, because when this thing's working, it likes to throw chips all over. As you can see, I got my drill press back here. Got my press, the new lathe. So sitting out here in this uninsulated garage, that the condensation gets to stuff, and of course it starts rusting. Because this stuff here was just all polished up is all. I just cleaned them, but I planned on powder coating these pieces anyway. I may end up tearing a lot of this apart and powder coating a bunch of the stuff now that I got this oven built. And as you can see, there's all the pieces and parts for the airplane. And that's what it's going to look like when it's done, hopefully. There's propeller blades and such. So next weekend I'm going to get back to work on this. Like I said, these past 2 months have been extremely cold. These last 4 days has been windy as crazy. Okay, so this is one thing. This is one little update on the Corsair. I got the windshield not mounted, but it's I was able to make a little jig that was in my previous video, and I was able to heat that up and just let it set on there, so it turned out pretty good. It's not bad. So now this has got to be drilled and screwed, and then I'm going to take and cut out an aluminum frame out of some thin aluminum with the CNC to put on there. And then gas tank's got to come out so I can get the fuel pumps mounted in there, get that closed up, get to the back of the instrument panel, reinforce it, finish hooking up all the wires, and then I got to get to work on the mold for the canopy to get that molded. So here's the last two pieces of corner trim that go on the back of the garage. So essentially that's what I've been up to for the past month. I mean, I'd come out here at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and I wouldn't go in till 8, 9 o'clock every night on the weekends. I've been back to work now for probably the last 2 months, so when I get home from the end of work, I don't feel like doing much out here. Got some of my new tools, all my parts and stuff hanging on the wall, trying to get everything up and off benches. These ramps are for the trailer so I can haul the airplane on it. I'm going to put a peg out up there somewhere, drill a hole through these so I can stick them on the wall. Those two planks back there is what I use to make a makeshift bench out of some sawhorses to do the fiberglassing of the control parts, control surfaces. So I'll be reassembling that again to get her going. So next weekend I can finally get back to work on the airplane. When I did the canopy or the windshield, I was just getting ready to start working on the landing gear to get it get the toe out set. I'm going to be doing it's like a degree or so, 1.5 degrees of toe out. I'm not going to be doing a toe in. There's a reason for that. But that's where I'm at. Still got a little cleaning up to finish around here. I got some spray foam here. What I'm doing on the outside of the corners, I'm spraying it to kind of seal the corners up before I put the caps on to make it nice and airtight. So, and I've already noticed, like I said, a difference in how well this place is cooler. I came out here that day just to make those mounts for the rotor blades. I was out here for like an hour and a half, and it felt like air conditioning in here, and it was just hot and muggy outside. And then the other day it did hit 90 degrees. I come out here, it was still only 82, but the humidity was up a little more. But the temperature never dropped below like 75 for the night. Memorial weekend was absolute miserable hot. It was like 80s, almost 90 on Memorial Day, and I was out here, you know, doing this work. So now I've got this all pretty much squared away. Now I can get to work on the plane. The temperatures still, I mean, we did have a few days, like I said, that were in the 80s, but they've been far and few between. I really need 75 degrees and warmer to do the epoxy work. When you get up into the 80s with the epoxy work, you can lay the stuff up. By afternoon, you can continue working on them because they're already cured. When it's 75 degrees out, you can't touch it till the next day. So, another idea is I'm going to probably dismantle this machine and tuck it away just to get it out of here. So now it's a lot easier. When I start working on the plane, I just push these 3 items out, the lawnmower and such, and then I'll move the plane around and start working on that. So once the weather gets warm, I'll finish up those control surfaces. That's the last major hurdle besides the canopy to deal with. So, and I also finally got Spectrum to hook me up out here. We've got 100 meg internet now, and I think it's 100 meg down, and I think it's 20 or 25 up, so it's pretty good. So this will be the first video I'll be uploading to YouTube with my new Spectrum internet. We'll see how that goes. Like I say, I'm going to still try to move things around here a little bit, clean up a little more, get some more stuff hanging on the walls. There's a piece of shelving that used to be on the wall back over there behind the foam cutting table. So I'll probably hang that across the back wall to keep things tucked up there. I've got my waste oil furnace that towards the end of the year I'll probably start trying to finish that up and get that running and then see how well that heats in here. I do have a torpedo heater. I think it's tucked back under there. That'll work, but the problem with those is they're noisy. So now that this thing is all insulated, it should be a nice, comfortable time working. So, all right, folks, that's going to be the update for this week. I'm going to go ahead and start doing these probably on a weekly basis again, now that I'm back on the plane. First thing I got to really do is take the plane out and wash it. I got to get because all this dirt was what would blow in from the ridge vent without the sealing in here. All this dust and dirt was from that. And then because I had to keep pushing it outside, a couple days working on the roof, it sprinkled. So that's why it looks like it does. It's literally filthy. You don't really want to touch it because you'll kind of grind that stuff into the finish. So I need to get it out and rinse it off real good, wash it down. But we'll be back to work on our next weekend. So everyone, stay tuned. The Corsair updates will be back hopefully next weekend at the very least, earliest. I'll try to do something. If it isn't just cleaning the plane, I'll do something. So as always, feel free to leave any comments, questions, concerns, and thanks for taking the time to watch my videos. Sorry I don't have more to update on the Corsair, but the goal is to get this thing done this year and flying. At the very least, get it taxi tested and out to the airport and maybe get a maiden flight in, but I want this thing done this year. So, all right, everybody, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. This is Dino Don out.